Hi.
Hi!
Welcome to the very first episode of our brand new podcast of Everything and Anything, hosted by Russell
and Alexa. This is the introduction of our podcast. So as the title says, you're gonna have everything and anything. Some of my preferences of topics that I would like to talk about are like relationships, balance in life, sports, animals, and things like that. How about for you, Russell?
Yeah, some of the topics that I enjoy a lot is motivation. For me, motivation is like a huge thing. Getting up every day, motivational quotes, all that type of stuff. I really like talking about that. Electronics. I also like sports, certain TV episodes. Anything that we really want to cover, we'll probably cover it, going forward. But yeah, those are some of the things that interest me.
Next, we're going to talk a little more about ourselves. About the hosts. So, I am the first host. My name is Alexa. I am from Colombia, a country in South America. Some of the interesting facts about Colombia are that, for example, is the only country in South America that has a coastline on both Pacific Ocean and Caribbean Ocean. Also, Bogota is the capital of Colombia, and it is the second largest capital city in South America. The last interesting fact about my country is that we have, in Bogota specifically, we have a high altitude. So, for example, our altitude is 8,661 feet. And Chicago's altitude, just for you to have an idea, is 594 feet. So, Colombia is a great place for people to train, like marathons and things like that. Other places that can compare to the Bogota's altitude are La Paz, Bolivia, which is the capital of Bolivia, and in Ecuador as well. I also like animals a lot. I only own one pet in the past. It was a fish. His name was Biko. And I'm looking to have more pets in the future. But I also like animals in general. So if you have a cute Instagram account for one of your pets, just let me know. How about
I'm the second host, I guess, co-host. My name is Russell. I'm half Vietnamese, half Cambodian. Was born here in the U.S. and originated from Portland, Oregon. Before Portlandia was even existed, I was there. It was much different back then in regards to how Portland is now. Some fun facts about Portland. Portland was named by a coin toss. There were two people, one that originated from Boston and one originated from Portland, Maine. They came here and they wanted to name the city, so they did a coin flip. So we could have been named Boston, Oregon, which I think would now be kind of strange sounding. So I'm glad that it was Portland. Another interesting fact is some of the nicknames for Portland is PDX. P-Town is what I usually call it when I was there, but it's also named Rip City, or another nickname as Rose City. But the oldest nickname of Portland is Stumptown. And Stumptown now is known for coffee. So if you go to Portland, you'll see like a lot of different coffee places. So some of those are the interesting facts about Portland. So the reason why we're doing this podcast is just basically we want to share with our audience some, everyday life, everyday conversations. I really wanted to touch on, everything and anything basically. To me, like a podcast is kind of like a therapy session, basically. We're just basically talking and just kind of having fun with it. That's the reason why we wanted to start this podcast. When?
We are actually aiming to do podcasts every 2 weeks for now, but we will make updates, if we have podcasts coming up sooner than that or later than that. You can actually follow us on our brand new Twitter account. That's every_anythings. And you can know when exactly the episodes are coming. We also like to do like posts and things like that. So if you have some of those, you can tweet us. If you would like to send us anything through email, our email is everythingandanything325@gmail.com.
So we're going to ask each other a few questions so the audience gets to know us a little bit better. And we prepared a few questions. We haven't even seen them. So we're going to start off. I can start off first. What is your favorite song right now and why?
My favorite song right now is Girls Like You by Maroon 5. This was a recent song that he did, and I really like it because it just shows the diversity of women and how each of us can be beautiful in our own way. So I really like that. What did you want to be when you were a child?
That's a great question. I wanted to be something a little bit different than other kids. I loved roller coasters as a younger child. I used to play Roller Coaster Tycoon, and that was one of my favorite games to play. I always liked the fascination of just being on roller coasters, going up and down and all around. It just makes you free. So I wanted to be like a roller coaster designer or architect, not exactly sure what you would call them, but always fascinated with roller coasters, so I always wanted to do something related to roller coasters. So that was one of the things that I was looking forward to when growing up.
Great. Do you have any other questions for me?
Yeah, so my second question is, what is one of your favorite places you have visited in your life?
Okay, so I recently went to Japan last year. It was the first time I ever been in Japan, and it was great. We went to Tokyo, which is the capital of Japan, and it was just so interesting to see how people were so polite and just were so warm and welcoming, and how easy it was to get around the city, even though we didn't speak any Japanese at all, but it just knowing that at the end of the day we're just humans, and that goes beyond any type of culture. So yeah, they were extremely welcoming. The food was great. Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's one of my favorite places as well. This question for me.
The next question for you is, what's your favorite song and why at the moment?
So for 2018, I actually don't have that many favorite songs that I could think of at the moment. But the one that I've been listening to at the moment was Rich Brian Cold. And I just like the feeling of the song. It's really laid back. When you listen to it, you're just really in a chill mood. And then when he made the music video for it, it was kind of like different and out of the blue. It was just him putting on ice skates and figure skating, and I thought that was like super cool. So those are one of the things that's just kind of different and out there, and I really like it. I enjoy it at the moment, and that's one of my favorite songs for now. My last question for you are, what are some YouTube channels that you watch?
Okay, so currently I am watching a Colombian YouTuber. Her name is Tuti Vargas, and she was before she was just an actress, and now she's doing like more lifestyle YouTube channel. I like it a lot because it kind of connects me with my country a little bit, and it's just nice to sometimes listen to things in Spanish, because when you don't speak the language as much, sometimes you kind of forget a little bit. So, and I just like to see, what's going on in my country, what are the tendencies there and things like that. And she also does a lot of fitness and things like that, so I like that as well. My last question for you is, tell me a childhood memory.
I have many of them, so I would just stick to one at the moment. But for my childhood memory, I look back at 1997. Actually, I'm just making this. I don't even know exactly the year or the time frame. But I was about 10, 11 years old. My younger brother was about 7 or 8 years old, and we would watch WWF all the time, now known as WWE. And we loved wrestling. We loved to imitate it. We would love to
do the moves and say the sounds. And The Rock was one of my favorite wrestlers. Stone Cold Steve Austin was also one of my favorite wrestlers, and we like to reenact it. So one day at the apartment we were living in, we had a wooden floor, and don't do this at home, children, because this is not a good idea. But it was on a wooden floor. I decided, I was like to my brother, let's try to reenact some wrestling moves. And I got him onto the ground. I thought he was dazed and confused laying on the ground. So I got one of the stools, and I put the stool like close to him. I got up, felt confident. I was about to, do a super crazy move. I got up on the stool and I did a frog splash. If you all don't know what a frog splash is, you basically extend your arms out and your legs out like a frog and you jump on them. And lo and behold, I didn't know that my brother was not dazed and confused, and he rolled away, and all of a sudden, bam, I blacked out. I didn't realize what the heck was happening. By the time I did wake up, my mom was driving me to the hospital. I was holding my hand towards my chin, and I didn't realize why I was doing it. I still was really dazed. And my mom was like, "We're taking you to the hospital." And I had a napkin, and I looked down, and it was just filled with blood. I basically split my chin open. If you can I could open the folds of my skin and touch my bone, basically. So basically I split my chin. I went to the hospital. Luckily, nothing serious happened. They just gave me 6 or 7 stitches to my small chin there, and now I have a scar for life, which is awesome because it's a cool story to tell, but also which was dangerous what I did. So that's one of the kind of child memories I had, which was entertaining.
So we are going to end our podcast with a gratitude challenge. This idea came from a YouTuber that I watch. Her name is Sam Oscarol. She used to live in New York, but now she lives in California. And she's a fitness YouTuber, but she does lifestyle and, motivation and things like that. So she wanted to implement this gratitude challenge back in November of last year when it was Thanksgiving Day. And the reason why she wanted to do this is because she wants to keep a constant reminder that we have to be grateful for the things that we have and try to make an impact in someone else's life. Even if something is small, or just give them a hug or say hi or compliment them. So it's always just good to end everything in a good note and make sure that, that we do this constantly, just like we do other stuff constantly. So the question for today is, what season are you grateful for? So Russell, can I start with that?
Yeah, sure. So season that I'm grateful for, I really love fall. Because not only it's my birthday season, so that's why it's the best, but also because summer is usually way too hot, and then winter is usually way too cold. Fall is perfect because it just fits right in the middle. Some of the best holidays are within fall, like Halloween, and my birthday, of course. So I really, really like fall. I think it just, and also when the leaves change color, I think that's very beautiful as well. So I think fall is one of my favorite seasons that I'm thankful for.
Okay, that's great. For me is either fall or spring. I don't typically like extreme weather, so I don't do very well when it's very cold or when it's very hot. So I think just to be in the middle, just being able to breathe normally and just be able to enjoy things without having to worry too much about what you wear. I like that a lot. So we have come to an end of our first episode of Everything and Anything. You can follow us at in our Twitter account, which is at every_anythings. You can find there more information about when our next episode is gonna be. And you can tweet us about what's your favorite season, and maybe we can discuss that in the next episode, as we said. So stay tuned for the future, and thank you so much for listening.
Bye. Bye.